Hey, my one viewer right now. Do I have audio? Can you hear my voice? Can you guys hear my voice? All right, there's audio. Great. All right, you guys, I'm having insane technical difficulties. Part of that is because the cell signal here is not that great. All right, you guys, finally get this stream up and working. It's been giving me a pain in the butt for about 20 minutes now. I was about to flip out. So as you'll notice, the audio is still the same. I bought an expensive microphone and a whole bunch of things to make it work, and it is not compatible with the iPhone currently until I figure out some whatever issue is going on. So just if you know, it's near impossible to get a gimbal to work with an external microphone for the iPhone. They're acid and water, or whatever you want to call it, two opposing forces. So, all right, let's go walk through this flag wave. How you doing? How you guys doing?
How you doing?
Howdy. Live streaming Villain Phoenix or Villain Report on YouTube right now. How you guys doing?
Hey, how you doing?
Great. Thanks for coming out. Hey guys, live streaming on YouTube, Villain Report. Hey guys. Howdy. Hi guys, live streaming on YouTube, Villain Report.
How you doing, Villain?
Nice to meet you guys. Nice to see you. Good to see you guys. Howdy.
America.
All right, America. You guys, if we're here in Gresham. Hi guys, live streaming on YouTube, Villain Report. Nice to see you guys out here. So we're here in Gresham by the City Hall. Hi guys, live streaming on YouTube, Villain Report. How you doing?
Good.
Live streaming on YouTube, the Villain Report.
Okay.
So we're here at Gresham City Hall for a flag wave. They had one like this last week and it turned out to be kind of tricky. Had some opposition. How are you doing? Alan Sweeney there. How you doing? A lot of similar faces out here. Come up here and see what's going on here.
More flag waves, more trucks, pickup trucks with flags. We didn't go and cause $30 million in damage in downtown Portland. You did that. Your people.
I don't know why you're here. It's not your running mill criminal Antifa. I can tell you got a job. Why are you here? Just feel bad?
So to the right we have an Antifa person, and to the left we have Chandler Pappas, friend of Jay that was there when Jay was shot and killed.
It doesn't matter what you stand up. God bless America! It doesn't matter what their political or religious beliefs are. They're allowed to have. What they're not allowed to do is to show and intimidate and be violent and hurt people or kill people. We've had to do shit defending ourselves that we regret, but we had to do it. We do it again if we have to. But we don't want to.
Nobody wants to have to survive.
But you guys keep showing up. So we showed up beside a riot that one day just to prove a point that we could show up and protest you guys, and they had a fucking shit. They were so pissed about it. And I ended up in jail because of it. You guys couldn't handle being protesters doing what you guys do to us. So we gave you a taste of what it felt like, and no one really got hurt. But y'all went crying to the cops, arrest them, arrest them.
Yeah, that ACAB makes it's real funny when you guys turn around and go crying to the cops.
I was actually shot by one of you guys.
You were what?
I was actually shot by one of you guys in the leg.
You were shot by one of my guys in the leg.
Not one, my preacher was there and punched me.
I call bullshit.
I want to scar everyone.
You know, I apologize for being hostile to you. I wind up after 4 years of dealing this shit back and forth. You're now one of the really bad, violent ones like mine, and get them to vote your way.
He doesn't even have a foundation, dude. He doesn't even know what he believes.
I think that whole system needs to be changed. I don't.
What's wrong with the system? You ever read the Federalist Papers? Do you understand the system? Do you understand the difference in the state and the federal government? Do you understand what their jobs are, what their roles are? The difference between the legislative and the executive branch?
Yeah, you might be surprised.
The system's not racist. It's never been built as
The system, we have a great system here.
No, I personally don't believe. I don't want the whole movement, but I personally believe that the system actually isn't racist. I think it's a classist thing.
You realize they're going to kick you out for that.
The black people.
And see, that's what sucks. Is he's not allowed to have his own opinion.
Black people, I believe black people were screwed out of wealth a long time ago. And that's just why I want to push the whole movement. That's just my personal belief.
Every rapper ever has more money than I do. The thing is, we have equal opportunity in this country.
That's the whole idea. It's not white or black. We're all one same. God don't care for white or black. We're all the same. It's racist to assume that because someone's a certain skin color, that they're supposed to vote a certain way with everyone. What they feel the majority is. The black population is not monolithic, nor is the white population, the Hispanics. Everyone should be celebrated for being individuals. And that's what the conservative movement is about. It's about everybody individual. We have everyone here. You ask 100 people here, we're all going to give you a different answer to the same question. And black people are the same exact way. It's racist to assume that they're all going to give you the same exact answer. And the whole world, it is, as much as Black Lives Matter, that everyone thinks it has all this momentum, it doesn't. They're losing people. It's crazy. Because more people are waking up and deciding, hey, yeah, I want to be my own person. I want to be obligated to vote the way this person.
So the reaction is just to get more violent, make more noise, and then it looks like it's bigger. It looks like it has momentum that it doesn't have.
Here's another point I was telling Haley today, is the fact the way Black Lives Matter has been trying to drive a racist divide in the country. When you think about it, with everything that's happened with all the riots and all the beating down of white people, you think white people will become more prejudiced towards black people than they haven't. And white people have embraced black people more.
What do you mean?
If you don't know, everyone in this crowd knows somebody who's black that they're friends with.
Antifa CEO, am I reading that right?
Hey, how you doing, buddy? I'm Vin in Phoenix. I've been documenting the riots for a couple months. Can I give you a chance to tell the audience and speak why you're here and what you showed up to this for?
I really don't want to say much more than opposed to the Trump and organizing.
Why are you opposed to Trump?
I don't like the way he talks. I don't like the way he feels.
What about what he believes? What about the actions he takes for the country? For our individual freedoms, for our agency. How about that?
I think both Democrats and Republicans are going to try to take freedoms. That's the way it's been going for a long time.
That is not the way it's been going for a long time. If you look at at least the last two presidents.
They're both warmongers. They're both hateful. They're both.
You say Trump's a warmonger?
I believe the United States is and always has been.
The establishment.
Yeah.
I could agree with that over the past few decades, but do you think Donald Trump's establishment? Why do you think everybody's been against him since he got elected?
Well, I will say he has pulled through the Middle East stuff.
Yeah, he's about to tweet.
Hey guys, just so you know, I bought a $300 microphone the other day, and it is incompatible with the iPhone at this point. It's very hard to get an external microphone to work with the iPhone, especially with the gimbal at the same time, so sorry about the audio.
I'm not interested in having a conversation with you, but you can see now that everybody realizes you're not here to assault us. We're not going to assault you. Appreciate the civil discourse.
I'd like to talk to you if that's all right. I'd just like to reiterate on that. Nobody's going to hurt you here. If you try to hurt people, they'll defend themselves, but nobody's going to hurt you here. Nobody's going to assault you. So that's not what this crowd's about.
I wouldn't expect
But
you to not defend
so
yourself.
there's a group of people waving flags here in Gresham, and they're coming out to protest and to speak their voice politically and religiously. And you showed up dressed all in black, to this event to not be part of them, but to kind of counter protest. I would categorize that as. Why did you decide to do that?
I just live right up the street. I don't disagree with you guys.
What do you disagree with about?
Much more than that. I don't believe in right-wing ideologies. I don't support Trump.
What right-wing ideologies do you not disagree? Do you disagree with? Because you can put a label on something, and then you can people, not you in specifically, but we can label something, and then we can just throw whatever we want into that category. But unless we deal with individual points and issues, there's no conversation going on. So what is it that you feel these people are expressing that you don't agree with? A few Trump flags here, and there's a people that come out to support Trump, but some people are just here to express their support for America as their country, and some people are here to support their right to express their religious rights in America. There's a diversity of opinions here.
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, but again, if you would like to speak your voice, why are you not just speaking your voice, or having a protest or a rally of your own? Why are you coming to counter protest somebody else's rally? I don't think that's true. That's not true. There have been in the last several weeks, the last month or so, people have set up events at the Justice Center to show patriotic events, but that's not true. The Antifa Black Lives Matter types have been at the Justice Center almost every night for the last close to 100 days. They've also been marching through neighborhoods in downtown Portland, and you do not see groups of patriotic people or conservative people or religious people showing counter protests. When I have seen,
that's literally Area Zero. Like that's where it all started. Like they're trying to counter protest. I
feel like I have you on the defensive right now. We're not having like a back and forth discussion between two equal human beings. So I'm trying to get to the heart. I'm actually trying to hear what you're about. And I know you just stood up against a crowd of like 20, 30 people that were all unhappy that you're here. So I want to give you a chance to just relax. Nobody's going to hurt you. I'm not trying to gotcha. I'm not trying to catch you and make you look stupid. I honestly want to have a discussion. So you've got almost all black on. You've got a t-shirt tied on your head like a black balaclava. Are you trying to represent the image of Antifa right now? Or are you just trying to remain anonymous?
Yeah, and you know what that means? You know what that means?
Well, answer that question for me if you would real quick.
Yeah,
are you trying to be Antifa right now, or are you trying to remain anonymous?
Yeah, I am. Both.
Okay, all right.
That's why we wear this, is to remain anonymous. It's why we wear all black, is to be anonymous.
Yeah. So do you identify with the Antifa group and the movement?
Yeah, I don't agree with fascism, and that's all that means.
So from my perspective, I don't see fascism in America today. Don't get me wrong. I am an idealistic anarchist, and I lean libertarian, and I lean for individual freedom rights to the extreme. I am against the war on drugs. I am against overreach of government. I'm against unnecessarily large bureaucratic systems and structures. But I don't see fascism in America. But in the last 100 days, I've seen black bloc types that identify as Antifa acting very, very fascist. They tell people what they can say, where they can be. They attack people when they disagree with them, and they intimidate people, and they in general try to get their way with force and terrorism. So if we want to talk about fascism, from my point of view, Antifa are the fascists.
Well, and I mean, what just happened? I was taking my hands up, said, "I'll fight you," and he smacked my phone out.
Okay, you got what just happened, and I'm gonna answer that question.
I wasn't intimidating anyone.
So what just happened? You came up dressed like a ninja, and usually when people are dressed like that in the last couple months, it's Antifa, and they are known and reasonably suspected to attack and hurt people. I have had chemical burns by having lye thrown at me, had urine and feces thrown at me just for being out and reporting and filming. And many people have had that happen too and been attacked. I have been jumped and physically assaulted for filming. So it's reasonable to see someone dressed like you and to identify you as a threat. But I will point out that they came up and talked to you. They did not come up and attack you. They came up and talked to you and felt you out and decided if you were a threat. And as Chandler said to you, he decided that you weren't a threat and you weren't going to attack people, so they all walked away and left. So they came up and identified you and decided if you were a threat or not, and then they did not attack you. So that, you asked what happened, that's what happened. So you are dressed in a way that makes people suspect that you are possibly going to harm people. They came up and checked you out and felt that you're not going to harm people, so they left you alone. So that's what...
You're wearing the same exact thing as I am, it's just different colors. I don't really see like why I seem like I'm intimidating. Like
You're not. I can tell by talking to you for a few minutes that you're not a stupid man, but you're feigning ignorance right now. And we could get legalistic and talk like the lawyers do and pretend like we don't know anything because we write it down on paper and read it. 2020 in the Pacific Northwest, if somebody is dressed like you are trying to project the image of Antifa, and there was a potential threat there. That is also why Antifa dressed like that.
Or trying to be threats and intimidating.
So you're right, I will flip the camera around so the audience can see me. I am also dressed anonymous, but I am not dressed in an intimidating manner. I'm not dressed like Antifa. I am hiding my identity, but I am not trying to project an image of terror. So you can pretend all you want, but I'm not going to buy into that. You strike me as a reasonably intelligent person, and you know very well that dressing up like Antifa sends a certain image. So they came and checked you out, and they didn't attack you. If it was the other way around, Antifa would have attacked you if you came here dressed like me. If it was one of me versus a crowd this size of Antifa, I would have got jumped and beat up.
Yeah, I almost just got jumped and beat up.
No.
Hey,
But the thing is you didn't. You did not get jumped and beat up.
If you didn't come up, I guarantee you I would have, because that guy already had gotten physical with me.
That's not true. You can say what could have happened, what would have happened, what you imagine was going to happen, but what actually happened is they came up and talked to you and decided that you weren't a threat.
But those two guys were going to jump me.
Do you know who that is that you were talking to, Chandler?
No, but I'm talking about the guys before. Before you got here, before anybody got here, the first two guys that came out talking, they were going to fight me. They wanted to fight me. I was like, hey, I'm not here to hurt nobody. I'm just
yes, but the entire movement, even if what you're saying is true, even if two individuals were going to get hot-headed and fight you, the entire movement came up and shut that down. And you're safe. You face no harm here. As long as you don't hurt anybody, nobody here is going to hurt you. There might be some hotheads in this crowd that are looking for a fight, just like any group and any organization in America or the world.
That's no different than Antifa.
No, it is different. Antifa will...
Am I looking for this? Am I looking for a fight? No, there's hotheads in every group, like you just said.
But the rule, the general expectation in the Patriot crowd is that there's going to be peace. The general expectation in the Antifa crowd is that there's going to be violence and assault. When there's violence and assault at an event like this, it's an exception to the rule. When there's violence and assaults at an Antifa Black Lives event, that's what's expected.
That's what we expect from you guys. Like,
I know, but
you were talking like you were worse.
You
sound exactly like me.
No, we keep talking in circles here. We can look at what our expectations are and what we feel and what we feel is going to happen, but we have to look at the actual evidence of what happens. And the evidence is that the Antifa Black Lives Matter crowd consistently engages in violence and attack on innocent people. And on the patriotic, conservative, religious side, whatever you want to call that side, they consistently do not engage in violence until they are assaulted. And I know there are people on both sides that are just looking for a fight no matter what. But there is a pattern to each side. The pattern of Antifa Black Lives Matter is intimidation, terrorism, assault, crime, violence, trying to force their way on people, fascism. And the pattern on the other side is to speak and to have dialogue and to restrain violence and to use violence as the last resort. And believe me, I know that there's hotheads. I've been watching this for a couple months, and sometimes I get a little bit upset by some people on this side because this side's supposedly the side of peace. But there are people in here that are instigators. But what I'm talking about is the general rule, the overall pattern of a group. The overall pattern of the American patriot, conservative, religious side is peace. The overall pattern of the Antifa, Black Lives Matter, anarchist, rioter side is violence and terrorism.
I mean, that's just the media you're watching.
I told you when I spoke up to you, when I walked up to you, I'm anonymous. My name online is Villain Phoenix. I'm the Villain Report on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. I have been in these riots and documenting these things since day one. The first night on May 29th, when Portland broke out into riots, I was out there filming and watching what happened because I wanted to see for myself. The next couple of days, I saw the media, the mainstream media reporting on it, and I was astounded at how much they were twisting the truth. I didn't care what their message was. They could have said it was good or bad. I didn't care. But they were not showing and giving an accurate representation of what I saw on the street. So I continued to film and report on this stuff as an individual, independent citizen for the last close to 100 days. I am disgusted by the mainstream media. I just got heckled on my platform yesterday because I called out Sean Hannity and Tucker Carlson for being sensational and appealing to people's emotions rather than their reasons. So I understand your point and you're assuming, but I do not follow the mainstream media. I think they're disgusting. I've been watching this myself, and I'm just overwhelmed by the violence and the terrorism that's going on by American citizens towards American citizens. And I really am not against you, friend. Like, you're dressed up in black bloc here at a patriotic event, so I don't agree with your ideology. I think you're coming from a different point of view than I am. And I'll be honest with you, I don't mean to insult you, but you're not really backing up your point of view very well. So I'm led to believe that your point of view has been.
It's just I don't know. I don't know why it's even worth discussing, because you believe in, you say, anarchy, libertarianism.
I said I'm an idealistic anarchist because I wish that we could have utter freedom, just completely utter freedom, and there was no rule of law, but it doesn't work. It doesn't work in reality. It breaks down into chaos, and violent men form bands of gangs, and they become the government.
So really, we actually agree on a lot of things, except I believe that wealth should be collective. You don't believe wealth should be collected. That's really
I don't believe what should be elected?
Wealth should be collected. That's really the only main difference between.
What you're saying is actually true. You just assume that about me because I didn't say anything about my capitalistic beliefs, but I do agree with you. I think that the idea of collectivizing wealth is one of the most dangerous pathological altruism ideas in the world. So pathological altruism is something that looks good on the surface and it feels like it would be good, but it actually has horrible and destructive and often deadly outcome. Every time in the history of mankind, we've tried to pool our resources and make equality financially for everyone, it's ended in rape, murder, genocide, starvation. There is not one time in history where there's not one time in history where there's been economic equal distribution of wealth where that has not ended horribly.
What's America doing right now?
They're becoming a communist country. That's why a lot of us are out here trying to stop that.
Raping us, starving us, and
well, you're conflating different ideas. So there are rapists in this country.
No, right now America is bad. It just is. And
you think America's bad right now?
Yes.
I'm trying to get. Can you speak up a little bit more direct? And that's muffling you pretty good. That lead you have over your shirt.
No, I can't.
But you think America's bad?
Yeah.
Why?
We don't invest in science and welfare like every other country in the world.
We spend quite a lot of money in science and welfare. We actually spend billions and billions of dollars of aid to other countries every year. Every country on the planet Earth right now is in debt to America for the charity that we've given them and the assistance and defense that we've given them. There is not one country in the world that we have not helped.
We go in, bomb a country, and say our own form of government, and then say we helped them.
You know, I'm kind of I'm not on the same page as you, but there's this idea that we can force democracy on people, and I don't agree with that. It's, in my mind, it's the same idea as forcing communism on people. You cannot improve the nature of the human heart by force.
I don't believe communism and democracy can't coexist. I actually believe they thrive coexisting.
Well, that's an interesting idea. That's like the social democratic point of view. Is that what that is?
Yeah, I align with a lot of left-leaning views, but I think that, democracy definition means the majority of people get what they want. So if there's true democracy, means there's a majority that laws passed what they tried to push. A republic is there's officials who are elected who make the laws.
Yes.
So America is a democratic republic as of this moment.
But let me ask you this.
Direct democracy is the will of the people. And why can't communism and democracy coexist?
That's a good question. And I have some controversial views on that aren't necessarily really conservative. I grew up being taught that democracy was the best form of government in the world. And I was taught that when the landowners in the original colonies were the only ones who can vote, that was the worst thing that could happen. It was discriminatory and it was evil. But as I've grown and as I've looked into things, I am less and less in favor of democracy. I think it sounds good as an idea or on paper, but in reality, it becomes mob rule. Every democracy in the world, as far as I understand it, lasts about 400 years. And then the voters realize that they have the power to vote the money out of the public treasury. And then they vote for entitlements and welfare, and they deplete the wealth of the nation. And then that nation collapses. So I look at when there was rich landowners that were the only ones allowed to vote. I think that might not have been such a bad idea, because those were the people that had proven themselves able to run a business, able to handle finances. They had proven themselves to be functional in society, so they got to vote. But today, the person that can't keep a job for whatever reason has just as much vote as the person that's able to run a corporation. And I'm not saying that the elites should rule us. I am against that at all. But I'll ask you this. Can you clearly define a line where democracy moves to mob rule? I think it is the inevitable outcome of pure democracy is mob rule.
So you don't believe in democracy?
I don't want to say a blanket statement like that, but I don't think democracy is a perfect system.
Wouldn't the flip side of that coin, wouldn't that be fascism and oligarchy or corporatocracy?
Well, you can go too far one way, and you can go too far the other way, but that doesn't mean there's nowhere in the middle that you can balance things and try to continually try to weigh things and see where you are in the moment. Agree. I don't want fascism. Sometimes I'm scared that there's going to be such a backlash to what's happening in the country with the riots and the anarchists that the conservatives are going to come swinging back too hard. So I'm scared of that. I want peace, and that's why I'm talking to you. If I actually didn't care what you said and I just had my own view and I wanted to push it on people, I would not give you a minute of your voice. I wouldn't care what you had to say. But I want to understand where you're coming from. I want to understand why you're showing up to this event dressed like you are to counter what they're doing. So I want to understand that so that we can have a dialogue. Because I'm sure that there are things in your mind that are more accurate than some of the things in my mind, and vice versa.
I don't really believe that America is a democracy right now. I believe that we already are an oligarchy, and that's where it's been going for a long time. Or corporatocracy, oligarchy, whatever
I wouldn't stand as firmly on that statement as you are, but I do agree that the one of the things that I think was devastating to the American Republic was the initiation of corporate personhood. Corporations should not have personhood. They should not be able to influence the government in votes and lobbying. Individuals should have that power. And I do agree with the sentiment of what you're saying, and that the oligarchy, those in power, those with money, have too much sway over those without. But I definitely disagree with the Antifa Black Lives Matter answer to that is to burn the country down and start over. Like, I was just talking to a buddy today about a house. Let's say you own a house and you found out that there's some dry rot or there's some termites in your house, and maybe you rented out a room to somebody that turned out to be a bad situation, and you got a derelict living in one of your rooms. The answer is not to burn your house down. The answer is to deal with those issues one at a time. Deal with the termites. Deal with the dry rot. Deal with the bum that you want to kick out. That's what we're seeing in our country today. All these people that are upset, and I feel for them. I feel for all the people that are hurt. I was out there interviewing people day in after day after day after day and talking to these people. A lot of these people have really, really hurtful stories in their past, and a lot of Americans do. I do. My upbringing, my past was difficult and rough. Everybody hurts, but we have to decide what we're going to do with that hurt. Are we going to spread that hurt further out into the world, or are we going to break the cycle and do what we can to make the world better and to ease the pain?
The people of America already don't have power. We can't change anything unless the people in power want it to happen. It's not going to happen. I don't know what your beliefs are, but I don't think that all elections have been real for a long time. I believe they've been staged. I believe Democrats and Republicans are two sides of the same coin. They do the same exact things. I don't think there's any real differences there at all. I think it's basically at this point, I believe it's leftists versus the status quo of what's been happening.
What's funny is that this crowd over here that you came out to protest, a lot of those people, I've met a lot of them and I've talked to them, and I think a lot of those people are good people. I'm not saying they're all perfect, but a lot of those people are really good people, and they believe some of the things you're saying. There's a movement, and it's not just one group, but there's a thread through different groups in America right now, and they're referencing 1776 and the movement for freedom and independence. And people are talking about how the Democrat and the Republican parties, in some ways, are just two sides of the same coin. But in other ways, they are very, very, very different. The Democrats are the cities that are burning right now, and the Republican-led cities are the ones that aren't having riots right now. The cities in America that are shut down with insane COVID laws, Democratic cities. The cities that have more freedom and more personal responsibility for COVID-related issues are Republican cities. So they are not exactly the same. I can understand how you look at the two-party system, and a lot of us, myself included, have a real hard time with the two-party system. I have actually never voted. Part of that is political conviction for myself, philosophical conviction, and part of that's probably a little bit of immaturity on my part. But I don't like that I have to vote between Master A and Master B, and I don't have the option to opt out. And that it's only two people, and they get to pick who the people are, and I don't like that. I agree with you, man. There's problems.
I think there should be no masters, peace, power to the people, everybody's equal, everybody has say.
Well, that's what goes back to what I was saying earlier about me being an idealistic anarchist, because I felt like that for a long time. I was in CHOP. Did you hear about that night those two boys got shot in the white Jeep up in Seattle?
Yeah.
So I was there that night. I was there that morning to film the city coming in and removing the concrete barriers. They ended up not coming in and it didn't happen. But later that night, a lot of drama erupted and those young boys got shot. One of them was killed on scene, and last I heard, the other boy was still in the hospital. He's basically, as far as I understand, and I don't mean to be disrespectful, but he's basically a vegetable. I don't have hope in a good recovery for him. But that's what happened in that situation. They took the police out, and there was constant fighting within the subgroups that are chopped. Constant fighting. The Black Lives Matter group, the communist groups, the Antifa groups, the John Brown Gun Club, all the different variations of the different factions there were constantly fighting for power and dominance there. And that's what happens in an anarchist situation. The foundation of America was to have the smallest government possible so that bands of bad men couldn't team up and become their own tyrannical government. So the idea of the Constitution is to keep the power in the people and to have enough of a government to keep gangs from becoming a bad government. But we keep increasing and increasing, and as we all know, with man, power corrupts always. So they get a little power, and then they don't let it go, and they get a little bit more, and the government keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. But I'll warn you that communism is, so there's one side that's no government, and that can be dangerous. Communism is the other side. It's complete government control of everything.
We're becoming authoritarian right-wing, an authoritarian right-wing country. I don't think...
Why do you think that? What makes you think that?
Trump. Mostly Trump.
Okay, you can say that, and somebody that already agrees with you would just agree with you there. But when I ask you a question and your answer is Trump, I don't know what that means. You have to tell me why Trump seems authoritarian right wing to you.
There's so much I don't even know where to begin. Like,
and I wanna dig at you here a little bit, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I'm gonna call you out. And I've had to do this myself in my own life. I think that the reason why you can't think of something clearly right now is because you don't really have a clear belief about that. You've been led emotionally, and you've been caught up in a mob of thinking. And the reason why you can't tell me why Trump is an authoritarian right-wing dictator is because you don't actually know that. I'm not arguing that you're right or you're wrong, but if you knew that, if those structures were there in your mind, if that belief was founded on logic and reason in your mind, it would instantly snap into your mind why that is when I asked you. But because you can't recall those structures,
let's just talk about just one thing that's been happening recently.
Okay.
What about the defunding of the post office and dismantling of mail sorting?
So the defunding of the post office hasn't happened. What has happened is the Democrats keep pushing for incredibly large funding bills of the post office. I believe the last one I looked at, they were asking to add $24 billion to the post office funding. The issue. So
the Democratic states have mail-in voting.
So you said let's do one thing. So let's do one thing at a time. I addressed that. You gave me two things. The second thing was the machines, the dismantling of the mail machines. What happens is every couple of years those machines are taken apart and replaced or serviced. That's what's happening right now. And also the machines that are being taken apart and being taken pictures of right now they deal with packages. They don't deal with letters, which would be a mail-in ballot. So that is an example of the mainstream media taking something real, taking a picture of something that's actually happening and manipulating it to get us divided and to get us to hate each other. What the truth of that situation is that the Democrats have been asking for very, very, very large additional funding to the post office, and the Republicans have denied it. They haven't come to an agreement on that. The other thing, the machines that sort the mail, they get replaced and they get maintenance every couple years, and that's what's happening right now. They're not throwing away machines, they're not destroying machines, and those machines that are being adjusted right now are package handling machines, not letter handling machines. So those machines don't have anything to do with ballots.
I couldn't say you're wrong for sure, but I would have to look into that. That's just not what
I agree. That's a smart way to look at things. I don't want you to take my word as truth. I want you to maybe listen to what I have to say and think for yourself and look into yourself. But yeah, the mainstream media, that's my opinion, they have been manipulating us again with the mail situation. And I honestly don't know where I stand on the whole mail-in ballot thing. Is it good? Is it bad? I can see arguments on both sides, and that's not really my fight. And I don't feel informed enough to have a really strong opinion on that. But so yeah, so that was one example of Trump being a right-wing dictator and that he was trying to shut down the post office so we can't do mailing. I don't think that stands up, and we'll put a pin in that, because as you said, you have to look at that to find out what I said. So that's my argument against that idea. You know, I've been grilling you for like close to an hour probably now, and I don't want to feel like you just have to stay here and defend yourself. Is there anything you want to talk about, or anything you'd want to ask me, and you're curious about what we're doing, or something you want to know?
No.
No?
I came here just to sustain.
All right. All right, man. Well, I'm going to let you go. Let me shake your hand. I thank you for talking to me. I thank you for actually having a dialogue with me.
Oh, yeah. I honestly, I like my brain being picked. I honestly like my time.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
So I will leave you with this. One of the main motivating factors that has me coming out and doing this, and I've risked my life in several things, and I've gotten attacked, I've gotten hurt. I am really scared that we're moving towards a communist government in the United States. And if America falls to communism, the freedom is kind of lost in the world. But I would ask you, and I didn't really know too much about this until I started looking into the problems of my own life, my own family, my own community, and then the nation several years ago. And I started being led to communism and other destructive forces in societies. But I would ask you to look what has actually happened in every communist place where it's been tried. In my opinion, from what I have learned, every place in the world that has tried to instill a communist government has ended in starvation, murder, and genocide. It has ended horrible. It's happening right now in Venezuela. It's happened in Cambodia, China, Russia, Vietnam, North Korea, and Eastern Europe.
So, yeah, communism isn't just the answer. That's not something that's going to be achievable for a long time. I don't believe communism will be truly achieved until it can be a whole entire world thing and everybody can just help each other out. I don't think any one country will be able to just achieve communism. But I believe the communist social democracy is a very good first step to.
And so what you just said is something that I think is a very, you clearly defined one stance of communism. And that's what they talk about, the globalists or the global communism.
Yeah.
Communism have gotten to the point where they realize, like what you're saying, is they can't get complete control of one country, because people will escape to the other country, or the other countries will influence what's happening. So communism today wants global communism. They want to have control over the whole world, so there's nowhere to escape from it. And I can understand that if you think communism won't work, it doesn't seem like a bad thing. But you have to ask, like, what are we sacrificing for what we're trying to get? And if we give complete freedom of the entire world, for there's no other options, there's nowhere to escape, there's no place to opt out, have we gained more peace, or have we lost more peace? Have we gained freedom, or have we lost freedom? And then my opinion, and opinion of a lot of people, is that communism doesn't work. So if the whole world falls to the control of communism, the whole world is going to suffer and face atrocity.
Well, I don't believe that once the world becomes communist, I don't believe there's actually going to be I don't think there's going to be a power hierarchy if there's global communism. I believe it's going to be just pure democracy. Everybody's going to have say, and it's.
Well, so this takes me into the religious.
I think the only other way besides money to get somebody to build your house is to promise that you're going to build their house, and that's just an ideology I stand by. I don't believe money really matters that much.
Yeah.
That's just paper. I think.
So this gets me into religious philosophical questions of the heart of man. I believe there's this Christian idea that there was a curse placed on the earth, and I see this like thread that weaves through the world and reality and society, that just things aren't the way that you think they should be, or with the way that you'd want them to be. And I think that's the heart of man. There's a wicked thread in the heart of man. And I don't think that man can have a utopia because of that wickedness in them. And I see that in my own heart. And I think that if you've evaluated your own life and your own choices, you can see that there's times when you don't do the things that you think you should do, or even sometimes where you don't do the things you want to do, and you do the bad thing instead for whatever reason. And I think that's a big part of why utopia cannot work in the human condition, because the human condition is cursed. And I don't mean that in the fundamentalist way of God said you shall be cursed. Maybe that happened, I don't know. But I believe that in the philosophical sense, that there's just something wrong in the heart of man, and it always rears itself up in the worst times.
Sure. And I think every generation always makes it better for the next. And I don't
You think every generation makes it better for the next generation? I think that there's a cyclical nature, and some people, I'm going to paraphrase it horribly, but there's this saying that bad times create strong men. Strong men create good times. Good times create weak men. Weak men create bad times, and the cycle begins again. So we had an era of prosperity after World War II, where a bunch of sturdy, strong men created a safe and prosperous world. And then the baby boomers came up in that society where everything was easy and peaceful, and they kind of created a bad time. And then we have a generation of people that aren't very hardy. We're kind of weak, and we're creating bad times. And I think that there's going to be some very bad days ahead, but that's going to create the cycle again where strong men create courage and strength and rise up again. But so I'm not trying to convince you. I'm just saying that's a point where we disagree. And I think it's good to identify where we disagree, because then you can talk about that and you can think about that. So you think that there's a progressive model of nature where things continually get better and better. I think that within the human nature, there's a cyclical cycle of rising and falling. And I think that you can even look at the universe and the laws of thermodynamics and how things decay, they rust, fall apart, they grow cold. That's just how reality works. Things don't get better and better and better. They kind of fall apart naturally, and it takes very, very, very hard work to keep them getting better, or to keep them staying the same.
Yeah, it's cyclical to a degree, but I used to be Catholic, and I forgot what priest said it. There was a priest in the Middle Ages that they said, like, woe to the men of this time who like grieve over like the troubles of the day, and said, like, think about to your ancestors what they had to go through.
I think I remember, and there's not going to be time, and you have to flee into the hills in a moment, and things are going to be bad, and you won't have time to gather your possessions. I think I get the vibe of the thing you're saying, the verse.
It was a priest.
Or did you leave?
Yeah.
Did you believe?
For a while.
So you did believe it?
Yeah.
What made you stop believing? I lost my faith too. I actually went to college to become a pastor for a real quick stint, and I lost my faith there.
I just couldn't see any real evidence of God. I feel like I was kind of just faking it.
So you've lost your faith that even God exists.
Yeah,
I believe God exists. I just don't know if I believe the details of any specific religion claiming. I think Christianity is the best religious philosophy in the world. I think there's the most wisdom in there, but I have a hard I haven't come to believe that the resurrection actually happened, or the miracles for that sake. But I am unshakably grounded in my faith that there's a creator. I think it's obvious philosophically. I think it's obvious by looking around in nature and seeing the beauty and the order of things. I think things like the fact that something exists rather than nothing exists points to a causation. The fact that love exists rather than just a mechanical computer world where feelings and emotions don't drive people.
I think it's just, I believe all of these are correct. If they make you a better person, I'm not gonna.
But if you don't believe in God, what does that mean? What is it to be a better person?
I just believe in evolution. I believe that's the answer to God. That's why everything.
I don't want to grill you on this. I was just trying to. We have a disagreement. you don't believe in God. I do believe in God. And I just wanted to say the reasons why I do believe in God.
I believe God's more of just an energy, and it's more of an idea, an ideal, a thought. And
One thing I saw in my loss of faith
is the human thought.
What'd you say?
I believe God is the human thought.
So would you say that you believe you are your own God?
Yeah.
That's hopeless to me, because if I'm my own God, I'm screwed.
Why?
Because I'm finite and I can't control my environment. I can't control my life. I'm vulnerable,
Well,
and
we can. We can control our environment. We can change things. We aren't hopeless.
But we die.
We do. But our energy lives on. We go back to the dirt.
What does that mean, though? What is that?
In some way, our energy will live on forever. Just like I'm literally made of my ancestors.
That goes back to the twisting of words we talked about earlier, when you were trying to describe yourself as dressing up like this and not admitting that you were trying to purposely dress like Antifa. So when we talk about ourselves existing in the sense that our atoms and the energy within the strings of our atoms will continue on for eternity, that is ignoring the reality that we know that there's something else to our existence rather than the matter that we're built upon. So yeah, maybe, who knows, maybe the atoms and the energy that I'm built on will last forever, but that doesn't mean that I will last forever. I'm different from that. That might be something that I'm constituted of and might be a part of me, but I am something more than the sum of my parts. There's in evolutionary theory, they call that I can't think of it right now, an emergent quality or an emergent trait, where things just kind of happen. I don't know. But what I do know is that we are not just the energy that makes our bones work. There is something more to us. I would probably call that a soul or a spirit or whatever you want to call it. I don't know. But I do know that everything changes if we don't hold on to the hope in God. Like I don't know all the answers to it. I don't know if Jesus is real. I would sure love someone to prove that to me, because that would just make life so much better if I could just cling to Jesus. But I haven't found him to be true, and I don't find any value in trying to lie about it so that I can feel better. If I find that to be true, I will cling to it, but I have not found that to be true yet. But one thing I am unshakable in is God exists. You can see it by looking into the sky and looking into the order of nature and looking to a tree. There's something awe that the human experience just kind of taps into. And we might not be able to articulate it all the time, but I think that awe that you feel when you see that is valid. It might not be valid to say like, oh, in that God's name is Allah or Jesus or whatever. Those are fact claims, and you need some evidence to support those. But I think the abstract feelings that God exists or something is more to this reality, or that we're eternal in some way, I think those abstract feelings are completely justified by abstract explanations. So that idea that there is a God is an abstract idea, and the feeling that you look at the universe and look at the vastness of the universe and the stars and the galaxies, you look at the sunsets, you look at the ocean, you look at the forest, you look at how nature interacts with each other, you look at how man has consciousness when there's no scientific explanation for why we're conscious. There's no scientific explanation why there's love. There's no scientific explanation for why something exists rather than nothing exists. There's no scientific explanation to why the Big Bang happened. We can say that's how it happened, but we don't know why it happened. We don't know. We can speculate on how life originally emerged, but we can't say why it happened. So we can't answer any of those questions with science, but there's something that rings true in my heart, and I find that everybody that I've talked to that's vulnerable and honest says that it rings true in their heart too. And I find that deep ringing in your heart that there's something more to this world is valid evidence that there is something more to this world. Let's say every condition in the human experience, you get thirsty, and there's drink to be quenched that thirst. You get hungry, and there's food to quench that hunger. You get horny, and you can have sex, and you can quench that desire for sex. You get bored, and there's adventure or entertainment. There's only one desire in the human spirit, human condition, that people claim does not have anything that can quench it, and that's the desire for meaning and the desire for God. But I say, if all the other desires in the human condition have the fulfilling factor, then it's reasonable to say that all human desires have something that can fulfill it. And so I say the desire for meaning, the desire for God is evidence of meaning, and it is evidence of God. So that is what keeps me going. In my curiosity, there have been times where I've gotten pretty low in life, and I hold to the fact that I believe that there's a meaning to all this, and that it makes sense on the other side. But I'm sorry for where you're at, and then you got the complete loss of faith. That's tough, man. Do you know that that's actually one of the deepest struggles a human can go through? Almost all suicides. I don't want to say that. A good portion of suicides are from people going through a loss of faith, and they lose the ability to even understand reality anymore because they had a framework where they understood the world and their life, and they lose their faith, and that collapses, and they no longer know how to look at anything. So I commend you for even struggling through that and going through it. But I'm getting preachy now. So I shared my point of view, and I hope it encourages you, man. Yeah, there's a black conservative preacher over there saying, preach. But yeah, man. And there's another thing. You look at communism, and you'll see another thread in communism. It's atheism. And they go through and destroy the religions. They destroy the family structure, and they destroy the temples and any kind. It doesn't matter what religion it is. They destroy any sense of a belief in God or a higher power, and it goes hand in hand. It's inseparable from communism. Whatever you come to that, I would ask that you look into that and see if you found that to be true or not, because it's every country. Every time communism is there, atheism is hand in hand with it, and it destroys the hope in the human heart. All right, I'm gonna stop preaching at you, man. I thank you so much for sharing your ideas and listening to me rant and talk, and I feel like I understand you a little bit more when you walk up, and just some of the things I said, I hope you know, like, yeah, maybe something could have happened here when you walked up, but nothing did. Nobody hurt you, you know?
I really hate that everything's becoming violent, especially, person-on-person violence, and I really hate that that's what it's been coming to, and I fully condemn that. I really do. I think our ideologies, our idealizations of the world, I think they're actually more similar than they are different.
I agree too, and that's one big thing that I've been pushing the last couple of months is that we need to talk. Because when we don't talk, all our ideas stay in our head, and they sometimes kind of ferment, and we'll have this avatar of another person in our head that's completely different than their actual reality. And when we talk, we see how similar we actually are, and we come to it. So when you look at this crowd, I know from your background and from stuff you said, you've seen things that make you believe in maybe fascism or violence or dictatorship and stuff.
I was just saying, just like you guys came up to me expecting violence, that's kind of what I've learned.
Yes, and that's what I'm trying to say. So you had these expectations, and I do know that even I have seen in patriot movements where there's a faction where they get kind of rowdy and rough and start causing trouble, and I'm not for that. But I hope you notice that when you're talking to people here, most of us are not for that. We're calling for peace, and we're trying to stop any retaliation of violence, but we want the violence to end. We want peace. I want the anarchists and the Antifa and the Black Lives Matter to go on to live non-violent, peaceful lives and have good lives. I don't want them to have bad lives. I do want them to be held accountable for their crimes, for those that commit them, and I want that stuff to stop. But I have no desire for them to just be hurt and have bad lives. But I do want that stuff to stop. So I just would hope you remember that though you thought that there was a potential that you were going to get attacked and beat up here, that didn't happen. And most of the people came up to assure that didn't happen. I guarantee you, all these people are more than ready to put a beat down on you if you come up and start causing violence and hurt people. But you didn't do that, so we didn't initiate it. This crowd did not initiate that on you. They came to check you out because you came dressed like an Antifa ninja. And once they realized that you weren't going to hurt people, they stepped away. So we don't want to hurt people. All right, man. Thank you for talking to me. If you want to look at this later, I'm on YouTube, Villain Report. You can watch this whole thing. It's live right now, and it'll be up later.
You won't chop it up like the media or nothing?
I'm not going to chop it up, and I'm not going to spin it. I'm not going to cut all your takes up and make you look like a dummy. I just leave it up there to let people think about what they want to think about. Thank you, man. I appreciate the conversation. I really enjoy talking to you.
I like my brain getting fixed. You say what? I like my brain getting fixed.
Yeah. Me too, man. Me too. All right, you have a good night. I'm going to go walk through the crowd here and see if there's more people to talk to. Good luck to you, buddy. All right, look at the chat here for a second. So you guys, I know that I saw some super chats during that whole thing, and I'm sorry that I didn't get a chance to respond to those while it was going, but I didn't want to stop at any time during that to read those. I did see a couple of 50 pieces. Thank you so much for you guys that have donated. Really appreciate that. You guys really helping me do this. I'm going full time with this. I'm going to be doing some traveling events pretty soon. So you guys' support is what's keeping me going. So those of you that are donating are helping me more than you know. I've upgraded my equipment recently. Obviously, I don't have everything squared away yet. The mics still aren't working. I do have several mics. I'm still trying to figure out what's going to happen to there and what kind of situation I have. I've got a GoPro, I've got a new laptop, I've got a bulletproof vest, and that has been provided by all of you guys. You guys are making this able to happen. Hi.
Fighting poor people, let's take it to the rich. From September 12th is International Yellow Vest Day.
You got it sideways. Can you turn it? What's this here?
September 12th is a big day for the International Yellow Vest movement, Global Yellow Vest Revolt. We're taking it to the billionaires. Why are poor people fighting poor people in the streets of Portland when this guy exists? Okay, I don't know anything about a virus. I don't. I know a lot about media and politics. There's something wrong with the media. There's something wrong with Bill Gates, and he has way too much money. If we just said, "Hey, Bill, here's 200 million. Have a nice life," and took the rest for the rest of mankind, we all had to struggle with Microsoft 10 and everything else. We've all look. If we took that, we could solve like every problem in this.
So did this have to do with the United We Stand, September 12th, or does it just happen to be the day after 9/11?
No, it's actually the date came from France.
Okay.
It's a big day for the French Yellow Vest, and it's now expanded into being a global day for the Yellow Vest.
All right. I'm actually a fan of the Yellow Vest, but I'm not a fan of wealth distribution. I'm also not a fan of Bill Gates. I think he's a creepy sneak.
Come on. I mean, you can still get rich in this country, but I think, $1 trillion is probably too much for a person. We got to have some.
But the question is where's the line? How much?
The line? I don't know.
What's the line? What's the line?
I'll tell you what the line is. Politicians are
obsolete. What's the monetary line?
I don't know.
How much is enough? Too much.
Let the people decide. Okay. Politicians are literally obsolete. Okay. We can represent ourselves to the world today. It's a technology question, not a political question. All right. That's the reality.
People control technology, though.
That's right. And so, look, read the Declaration of Independence today. That's a critical thing every American must do. Focus on the Declaration of Independence. It's the highest of all U.S. laws, higher than the Constitution. Doesn't say anything about a republic. It says we're entitled to any government that the people want and deserve. Look, the republic was a great progress over kings and queens when we did it. We had with the French at the end of the 1700s. Great progress. It has run its course. Literally, the French Yellow Vests say the republic is irreparably corrupt. And if you ask the American people, they agree. The Congress has an approval rating of like 7-8%. Okay? We can all represent ourselves to the world today.
Well, you're saying a lot of things. There are a lot of mixed up ideas.
I'm trying to get it out as fast as I can.
Yeah, I know, but you're just ranting on a whole bunch of different things that don't necessarily line up. So the American people may be in agreement that the Congress is corrupt, but I don't know that it's true that we're agreeing that the structure of Congress is corrupt. We might agree that the individual congressmen have accumulated a lot of corrupt individuals in that structure, but I think that there's a lot of Americans that still believe in that structure and value it.
Well, then let me just tell you, I don't. Because I can assure you right now, there is no fixing the system from within. Like I say, I don't know anything about a virus. I know a lot about politics, went to law school. I've helped corrupt the Republic myself. I've been a lobbyist. I've managed political campaigns. These are fundraising competitions. That's all they are. And it has really little to nothing to do.
So what's the answer?
The answer is direct democracy. It is. The answer is direct democracy.
I think direct democracy is indistinguishable from mob rule.
Exactly. Every American has been programmed to say that since the 5th grade. That was in
I have never been told that. I've
we've
looked
all
into
been-
history myself.
Oh, okay,
I've looked
but-
into history myself, and every democratic society in the world lasts about 400 years, which is about where we're at, and then it collapsed because the people realized that they can vote the money out of the public treasury, and that's what's happening right now. I think that I haven't told that. You're
haven't
suggesting
been
that
able to
I've been
vote it out
indoctrinated,
yet.
but I
The
have
oligarchs
not.
have got all the money
I
for
came to that on my
themselves.
own conclusion.
Right.
That
no, but it's a true, because actually I've been on this, like I had an epiphany. The French Yellow Vest gave me an epiphany back, at the end of 2018. Okay, about this having worked in the system, for most of my adult life.
Yeah.
Worked in politics, and look, we just I trust. I've been doing this, and you talk to Americans, they all come back with that exact same phrase: mob rule. They all do, to a T, like I expected. Like, you're the first one that I've had a long enough conversation for it to come back, but I told you were going to say that to them. Everybody says mob
No, you
rule.
didn't.
Well, didn't I? I thought I did. Maybe I didn't.
No.
Okay, well, I'm telling you now. I hear it all the time. What we have now is
Maybe
mob
that's
rule.
because it's true.
No, that's because it's part of the. It was part of the U.S. educational indoctrination program. You did it in 4th or 5th grade. You did, whether you remember or not. You did.
No.
You did.
Never. I grew up being taught that democracy was the best thing in the world.
Right, but direct democracy is mob rule, and that I think is just a.
Well, I'm trying to deal with your claims that you're making.
Okay.
And every time I disagree with the claim, you tell me that it's on you. You come back to the claim.
Yeah,
So I did
because
not.
I'm really
I did not
convinced
get. I did not get taught by schools that. I did not. I got taught by schools that democracy was the best thing in the world. Through my own self-education as an adult, I have found that democracy devolves into mob rule. I was not taught that in school. The schools taught me the opposite of that.
And so, actually, there is an element to that I also agree with as well. And so I do think you have to have.
The fans
to do it this
are
way
happy
the
that
first
you're a
time.
Duck supporter.
Good. Go Ducks. This time, instead of tacking on a Bill of Rights at the end after we do the Constitution and the first 10 amendments,
The reason why they didn't do the Bill of Rights up front is because they didn't want to do it, because there was an argument that said if we create a Bill of Rights, it's going to limit our freedom. It's going to say that this encompasses all our freedoms. So they were reluctant to do it because they believed that those rights were self-evident and there was no reason to encode them into law. But they chose to do that for their differing reasons, but that's why it wasn't up front. It was
coming around to it at the end.
we believed it was implicit at first.
Right, and I believe it's implicit too, and I think you do too. I think we all have natural rights, and we shouldn't have to worry about writing it down. I couldn't agree more. Unfortunately, we got sort of, I don't know. I mean, that's an interesting point, but as long as everybody understands the natural law, that's great. But maybe they don't, and we've got some modern problems to add to our Bill of Rights. Okay, the first 10 amendments have been largely gutted by the courts. You have a little bit of the first, you have some of the second. That's about it. Maybe a tiny bit of the 10th. That's about it. So we need to refurbish those.
I agree with you on that.
And we have new problems. This is where the Yellow Vest can help us out, because they sort of think that hopefully we can transcend sort of revolution, the violence that may come with a revolution, by establishing overwhelming legitimacy through direct democracy. Okay, and maybe technology can help us with that. But with technology, we have new questions. Okay, like for example, I think there are 2 new enumerated rights that human beings must have due to technology under a new Bill of Rights, and that is any data that your existence creates must belong to you.
I agree with you.
Any amount of data.
I agree with you.
Okay, so that means, and that's a modern technology problem that really needs to be explicitly handled. That means no government, no corporation, no monopolistic corporation can get that. It belongs to you. And then I think the other one is this, and I think it's that an inherent right to self-representation before any purported government. Okay, we do it in the highest form. I might be zooming. I'm like 51 years old. Okay, I've seen a lot of crap. Most people my age have, and I feel really confident about these things that I'm going to say. I really think it's human destiny in a sense. That we have some sort of interconnectedness, and I'm not an Elon Musk, plant something in your brain kind of guy at all. Okay, I think we need to stay human. I would like to be human before I die. Right now, I'm running around in a money prison where every decision I've made in my life is dictated by money. and pretty much every human decision is. But I think if we have an egalitarian connection structure, maybe a new internet, maybe the new quantum internet, where there is no hierarchy, okay? And maybe you could get to a point where you have an altruistic AI. We can't do this today. But you could begin to synthesize decisions in a way that could be extremely convenient and wonderful.
There's a philosophical idea that you're putting forth right here.
Sure.
And it's actually been around in many forms for the years, and I can't tell you the exact name of that philosophical idea, but what you're actually, the base of what you're saying is that mankind can create its own God that will bring around the utopia.
Well, that's an interesting way to put it.
It comes up throughout civilization, through civilization after civilization, and what you're describing is to build our own God, to create our own God that will govern us in a utopian manner.
Well, I can see where you get there, and there's another.
You can see where I get it.
I'll even continue your argument with, because there's been a fascinating sort of discussion, and if you come from like a Judeo or specifically a Christian background, who were the priests in Christendom 500 years ago? Why were you a priest 500 years ago?
There was a bloodline.
You were the only guy in the neighborhood who could read, so you were the priest.
You're talking about the priests in Catholicism?
Mostly, yeah. But yeah.
Well, it started in Judaism. In Judaism, the priests were a tribe in Israel, and they were bloodline and were taught to read and all that. Yeah. They became scholars. In Christianity, a lot of times it had to do with bloodline and getting your name in there, but sometimes you got in there without the bloodline, but you were raised as a child, as in most monastic traditions, to learn the scholastic traditions from childhood.
And maybe
so it wasn't that these savant or self-studied people got chosen to be priests. They raised people to be priests.
They're the only ones raised to even understand how to read and write.
Yeah, that was part of that was part of the Protestant Reformation, was that they actually controlled the scriptures to where the common people couldn't read it. The scripture was written in a non-common vernacular, and the common people could read it. Part of Martin Luther's protest against the Catholic Church was to translate the Bible into the common language.
And so you see how humanity is progressing by decentralizing information. And
so I just had this conversation with the guy that I was talking to last, and you're describing a worldview where things continually get better and better and better, a progressive worldview. I don't have that worldview. That's where we disagree. I believe that things naturally decay and fall apart in reality, and I think that there's a cyclical nature to the human condition, that we rise and fall and rise and fall. But
but let's make sure that we're deciding that to the best of our ability and not some billionaire. Okay.
True. We agree on that.
And not some
we agree. I'm against the oligarchs.
You can't have. There's no fixing this republic.
Why the hell does Bill Gates have anything to do with COVID and the WHO? Why he's a programmer.
Thank you.
Why he's not a doctor?
Thank you.
Why does he have anything to do with vaccines?
So why can't we all unite? And all we're asking, bring American flag if you like.
So show that up here again.
Please don't. And this was
so this is September 12th.
September 12th.
Medina. Melinda. Is that supposed to say Melinda?
No, Medina.
Medina, Washington. Okay, Bill Gates' house. Oh, you're gonna go protest at Gates' house? I want to come to that if possible. I'm not gonna be able to. I'm gonna be somewhere else. But
you should come.
I'm gonna be somewhere else. I would love to have been to that though.
And you know what? He's got enough. Maybe all the homeless people should take his house. I don't know. I mean, that's just too much. Look, I don't know what.
Okay, you avoided this question earlier.
Well, here's the
You're
answer.
making a very strong claim. You're making a very strong claim right now, and you're saying that he's got too much money. Mm-hmm. And I asked you how much is the threshold between too much.
Egalitarianism, and I'd like to live a life as a human being where I'm not counting change and spending my whole life counting money.
If you do the math,
how about that? Well, I'm going way out. Get rid of money. If you go to a resource-based economy, if the people wanted it, you could. You know how much time every one of us spends counting money every day? From the clerk at the store, you're standing in line to pay for something, gives you change, to using your phone to check your
honestly, I'm going to give you real talk. You have a lot of utopian ideas, but when I try to talk about the details to them, you don't want to do it.
Oh, this is what I think.
You have a lot of, I think you have a lot of utopian emotional feelings.
Well, no. What I believe is, what I have faith in the ability of humanity to make these decisions. That's where my zeal is. It's not on any particular answer to the questions you've given me.
Why has that not
My zeal is
happened
in
through
the
these
solution.
civilizations in the thousands of years of human history? Why has that not happened?
Because we haven't had this technology yet.
So you think that we're at the precipice to where we can create a technological God?
Yeah, I don't know about a technological God.
I'm telling you, I'm telling you, I don't mean to be
technology should be subservient.
I don't mean to disrespect you at all,
Okay,
but I'm just going to say that you are unaware that this is an idea that's already arisen. This is not a new idea.
I understand.
No, but you're saying you can take care of us. It might not use the same.
I'm not as far along as you are. What I'm saying is we have technology that can help us facilitate people's referenda.
So that's different. Is that different than 100 years ago?
Yes.
The philosophical idea there within what you're saying has been around through eons. It's been around and it's been tried. The idea is that man, it's the idea of the Tower of Babel. I'm not joking, you dude. That is not a new idea. I'm not trying to disrespect you, but you think it's a new idea. But it's been tried. But you're not listening to me.
You keep saying something that's untrue.
But when you describe it, you describe it as a new idea. You describe us being at a new place in human history to where we have an option available to us that wasn't there before.
Don't you agree?
I don't.
You don't?
I don't.
Did you have one of those 100 years ago?
No.
Okay, then that's what I'm talking about.
You think my iPhone is going to make the utopia come about?
It's going to facilitate human communication in an efficient and rapid manner that was not possible prior.
And where we disagree is that you are expressing an idea that the human heart is naturally good, and then if we take away constraints,
that's right.
You are...
Yes, humanity is basically good. I do believe that. And I think anybody who's telling you otherwise, including rulers and real rich people who've co-opted religion to tell you you're bad,
So,
are full of shit.
Humanity has had
basically
this
good.
big argument throughout the centuries,
Right.
and throughout thousands of years.
Yes.
Some people believe that the heart of man is purely good, and that it just needs to be unconstrained so that they can live. That's the story of Tarzan. Tarzan was not constrained by society, and so he grew up pure and perfect.
I'm not going to talk Tarzan.
The philosophy, you got to let me talk back to you when you're saying things. So you give a point. Because the story of Tarzan is the issue of man and society. The story of Tarzan is the idea that society corrupts the human heart, not the human heart. But the other belief is that the human heart is naturally corrupted. That's the Christian belief, that there's a curse woven through the earth. And so Tarzan says that the heart of man is good.
Post-crucifixion correction.
Tarzan?
No, the idea that the Christian concept that
the curse?
Yeah.
The curse is in the Genesis. It's 4,500 years old. It was written well before the curse.
I don't think if Christ were walking the earth today, I don't think he would say that the heart of man is basically bad. But I may be wrong. I'm not Jesus Christ.
So the only thing I don't believe, I haven't been led to believe that the Christ is actually a literal character. I don't believe he's not. I just haven't come to a solid stance on that. But he is a literal figure. He is a character that we pull wisdom from. And where we get that from is the scriptures, and so all we can judge his stance on is one of the scriptures, and the scriptures does say that the heart of man is
I
wicked.
have great faith in humanity to make good decisions. The more people involved in those decisions, the better they are. Now, that's an extremely cumbersome process.
And that's where we disagree.
Where technology can help us.
That's our fundamental disagreement. You think the heart of man is pure?
Yeah.
I think the heart of man is cursed.
It's pure. I say it's basically good.
We're getting caught up in words. So you think the heart of man is basically good? Nope. I'm anonymous. Sorry, buddy.
All right. Well, I'll shake your hand anyway.
All right. Thanks for the talk.
Totally an open book. September 12th. Let's quit having poor people fight poor people. Let's get where it matters.
All right.
Let's end this nonsense and end all of this nonsense and let the people make decisions. We can do it. We don't need a ruler. It's you.
Oh, it's exhausting. Man, I'm sounding like a fundamentalist preacher tonight. It's like on a roll. Take live phone calls. I don't have the setup for that right now, but that's an interesting thing to do in the future. Take live phone calls. Have a second quality phone. I'm gonna change the battery out of my GoPro here real quick.
That's the third time I've seen that fucking guy. And every time I see him, he tells me the same thing. Sometimes I see him over here, sometimes I see him on the side, sometimes I see him on the sidewalk. I see him like... Alright guys, I'm taking out. So, nice meeting you guys. Nice meeting you again, man. See you around. Oh yeah.
All right, I got my GoPro situated. I got my second camera. Second, I don't have it situated yet. Give me just a second, guys, sorry. That guy thought he was gonna get to see my unmasked face just because he talked nonsense with me for 30 minutes. All right, we're good to go, guys. I'm looking at the chat if you guys want to say anything or ask anything. So, how you doing, man? Uh, 5'10" redneck is saying that guy was trying to see my face for a reason, and maybe he blocked vehicles in Portland. I don't know. Doesn't look like there's going to be violence tonight. The sun's just now starting to go down, so that's when Antifa usually comes out, but it hasn't been a problem tonight so far, so hopefully it stays peaceful. But I do know there's a lot of people here who aren't going to take any shenanigans if that does happen, so things are peaceful so far. How you guys doing?
Oh, we're doing great.
I don't know if I've met you before. I'm Villain Phoenix or Villain Report online, live on YouTube right now. What brings you guys out here tonight?
Stand up for our fucking country.
Stand up for the country, all right? So it's good. It's internet. People can deal with what they need to deal with. What about you, man? Got the 2020 flag going on there?
Yeah, shit's happening in the
Yeah.
Fucking our city up. Excuse me, but hey, I'm tired of it. You gotta stand for our rights.
Yeah, a lot of people are tired of it.
Oh yeah, you are. You gotta kick them out. You gotta fight for your rights. Hey,
Yeah.
let's see where it goes to.
What about you, bud? Why are you out here tonight?
Back to blue, support Trump.
Back to blue?
Support the USA.
See, you got your the thin blue line American flag there. All right. You guys want to say anything else? Yeah, all right. Thanks for showing up, guys. I've been trying to get people to come out to these and just show numbers so that Antifa doesn't feel so emboldened to keep doing what they're doing. So thanks for coming out, guys.
They come out in groups and they scare you.
Yeah.
And no, it's not gonna happen no more.
Yeah, well, thanks.
Patriots came out of the woodworks and now we're here.
Yeah, everybody's starting to wake up and starting to make a stance. I hope that we can continue to be peaceful while this happens, but I'm glad that people are coming out nonetheless.
Yes, sir.
All right, you guys have a good night.
You too.
I'm just gonna walk through here real quick and see what's going on. Got some legacy media here tonight. That last conversation exhausted me so bad. What's up, Black Rebel?
What's up?
Get stabbed lately?
You guys check out Mr. Villain Phoenix on Twitter, Villain Phoenix on YouTube, lots of great stuff.
Villain Report now. Change everything to the Villain Report. Villain Report on Facebook, Villain Report on YouTube, Villain Report on Twitter.
Villain Report, you guys.
I tied it all together.
Awesome.
Someone told me to do that a month ago and I was stubborn. So, yeah, how's your wound going, man?
Very good, very good.
Yeah?
A lot better.
That's good to hear.
100%. It's like it itches, that's about it.
Itches, that's a sign of healing, so that's good. What do you got coming up anytime soon?
Let's see, New York City next week. And
Next week in New York
4th of
City?
July, we're gonna go out there for the memorial on not 4th of July. September 11th for the memorial out there. So next Wednesday, I think we fly out. Next Wednesday or Thursday, I don't remember the exact date. And so between that and then I guess there's something in Eugene on Friday, as well as the J Memorial ride in Vancouver on Saturday.
Right on, man.
You think there'll be a little bit of opposition that day, you think?
I hope not. I hope the left can just stay out of this.
I would hope so too, you know.
I think that they've kind of like put themselves in a quandary because if they come out to put opposition against Jay, they're going to lose any sympathy they have.
Yep.
So
Vancouver police will probably be there in force too, I'd imagine.
yeah.
Safe side. But anyway, guys, it's kind of a streamer party here. We've
Yeah.
got Black Rebel over here.
We're
Only Mr. Bill right
only
here.
at Mr. Bill on Facebook and
Exactly.
Twitter.
Villain Report on YouTube, if I recall.
Yes, sir.
Awesome, guys.
And you're only Mr. Bill?
Only a Mr. Bill.
Only a Mr. Bill.
Although you can usually find it without the A. but-
All right. What are you on?
Facebook.
Facebook?
YouTube.
All right.
TikTok. Although I'm shadow banned on TikTok, like every conservative is.
Yeah.
So, yep.
All right. Well, nice to meet you.
If you want a little story about on the 26th, you guys were kind of out there and everything. I was on the other side, on the Antifa side, sort of infiltrating them, kind of getting that perspective. So if you guys need to chat or something.
No.
Right. About trying to get their perspective. I wasn't wearing any red, white, and blue, kind of gray and things like that. But I was filming them, and evidently I was kind of filming some of the illegal stuff they were getting ready to do to you guys on the other side over there. And then a couple of them came up to me and said, quit filming us. I backed away further, getting further away from the crowd where people could see what's the action. And then they spray painted me, tried to spray paint the camera.
Oh man.
It's crazy. And then I think then they went back and lied to the guy and say they pushed him. Like, no, I slipped when I was trying to accidentally kick the guy or something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Only a Mr. Bill. And that was the during the Trump vehicle parade, or was that during the battle the
That's
week
on
before?
The 22nd, whatever the nickname.
Oh yeah, the 22nd. That was I've been calling that like the Portland battle or whatever.
Battle of
So
Portland.
yeah, check out that video and see them attacking him on his video on
It's crazy, yeah. Only a Mr. Bill.
only a Mr. Bill. So check that out, guys. It sounds interesting. All right, watch out for knives, Black Rebel.
Definitely.
Things are starting to wind down here a little bit.
Good to see you again.
Thank you. Nice to see you out here. How you doing, man?
Have a good night, man.
Are you coming out to everything now?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah?
Yeah. Well, we got to.
Yeah.
It's important.
Let me
Have a good night.
What's going on, dude?
How you doing, man?
It's going, man.
It's going good?
Yeah.
I saw you liked my motorcycle club idea.
Dude, yes.
Yeah?
Totally, dude.
I've wanted to start an MC club for years.
And T-shirts, man.
Yeah, I'm getting on that.
Because I always see him on downstream doing it. Even something that has to like absurdly naked woman. You know, like you always
the undesirable naked woman. That's happened many times during my streams.
It's always you that gets it.
Oh, there's another one.
You're like, oh, I can't film over there. I'm sorry. Yeah, T-shirts, man.
Or a muff.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, working on the, just started putting that together today. A villain bandana, got to do that right. Do coffee mugs and hats.
Hell yeah.
So, right on.
Yeah, so ready for that.
You need to remember to get. I'm Michael's mom.
Hello, Michael's mom. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I see you all the time. But,
Yeah?
you should make sure when you grab and see the things from Saturday.
So just make sure in case you want to say something, I'm on live stream right now. So, yep. What are you saying? Everybody's loving you right now.
Dude, you didn't tell me that.
Well, you know who I am.
No,
I'll step away for a second so you guys can talk.
no, it's okay.
That's okay?
Yeah. No. There's going to be T-shirts and bumper stickers and handouts. With Aaron J. Daniels on it. So
Yeah.
make sure that I know you kids want to be there, so I'll make sure and grab you guys.
I'm gonna mute just for a second because I don't want to say something I'm gonna say on the live stream. Yeah, I'm mute. Okay, guys, I'm gonna do a little plug here. Let's hear what's happening this Saturday.
Saturday, we are having a remembrance gathering and candlelight vigil for Aaron J. Danielson. And it's going to start at 4 p.m. till 7 p.m. And we will have, we're going to have a barbecue, some T-shirts, bumper stickers, and I think about 7 different speakers, and then probably an open mic if people want to come out and say something.
Where would this be?
Oh, it's in Vancouver at Esther Short Park.
So Esther Short Park in Vancouver this Saturday at what time?
4 p.m.
4 p.m. There's going to be a memorial for Jay, the man that was recently assassinated by Antifa last weekend. So we're going to have a memorial for him at Esther Short Park in Vancouver next Saturday at 4 o'clock. There's going to be speakers and events. And
Yeah,
is,
this coming Saturday.
is there anything else you want to say about it?
Show up and support and remember Jay.
Yeah.
Just everybody show up and show your condolences, and that would be great if we had some large numbers come out to that to show that that sort of thing is not going to be tolerated in our country, in our city, in our area. So,
Yeah, definitely.
all right. Well, thank you for shouting that out to everybody.
Well, I wasn't expecting.
I got you on the spot.
Dang, Dylan.
I'm very, very sneaky.
Oh, I should have known. But yeah, I hope everybody can make it out there because it's going to be a good event
Yeah.
for everybody.
Yeah, I've been at a loss for words about that. And I think anybody knows me that I'm not typically at a loss for words, but just that was one of the most horrible things ever.
Yeah.
They hunted him down and killed him.
Yeah.
They hunted him down and killed him.
Yeah, it's assassination.
Assassination, exactly.
All right, guys, I'm going to wander around and get some more live stream stuff. So.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Appreciate you going.
Thank you.
It's good seeing you, man.
Thank you. Yeah. So things are winding down here. Most everybody's left. All the flags are rolled up, and everybody's getting ready to leave. See Captain Deplorable sent me a note. Villain, I had to change my name due to death threats, but I want to get in touch and do a live show with you with call-ins. Let's make it happen. Sounds good, Captain Deplorable. Reach out to me on one of my platforms and make sure you connect this avatar and this presence on YouTube with the other presence that you'll contact me on. Let's talk. Sounds good. Thank you for the $5 super chat. And I think I saw you put one up earlier. I think you might have been one of the $50 ones. Sorry I didn't get to read those out. I'll scroll up and read them real quick. I think I can do that. Let's see here. Looks like Nolan's deleting some comments tonight. Thanks for monitoring my chat, you guys. MM, Nolan, Will, and Josh, thank you so much for helping me out with all that stuff, you guys. So it won't let me scroll up far enough to see the super chats from earlier, but I'll look at them later. Sorry I couldn't read those when they came up, you guys. Thank you so much for helping me out. Hey, Will, try one in there.
We'll see you next week.
Shouting out, saying thank you for the shout out. Thanks for modding, man. Thanks for all your support. I really appreciate it. MM says she thanked everybody for me. Thank you so much. And please don't take that as a sign of disrespect. I know you guys donate to me. That's greatly appreciated. But sometimes I just can't stop in the energy of a interview like that. I felt like that interview with that black bloc guy was going pretty good. So I saw those popping up, but I just couldn't interrupt it to read them, even though I wanted to. Just didn't want to interrupt that flow that I was having with that guy. I'm tired tonight, guys. Been chilling out in a hotel room the last couple days, kind of upgrading my gear and just kind of laying low from the world. No obligations on me. I was going to just chill out tonight, but then this thing happened. And there's no way I'm going to turn down a chance for an interview with Chandler and a chance to come out to a flag wave event like this. So just want to say again, you guys, I'll post it again after this event. But if you go onto my Twitter or my Facebook, and you can find the GoFundMe for Jay and his family. If you guys are able to help his family out, that's greatly appreciated. It's just such a horrible tragedy that they went through. It's just so sad. So I'll post those again after this tonight. So he says I should interview a lone Antifa, but do it all crazy with leading questions. That's actually funny. Kind of crass, but so I understand that you were behind the execution of Jay last week, and can you explain that to me and why you killed that man? That's horrible.
Real quick.
Mute for a second here.
Hey, sorry.
You guys, I'm gonna do a photo op here real quick with some of my streamer people, so I'm gonna take this off for just a moment. Yeah, I had it muted.
Remember this before. You just
All right, guys, I'm back.
put their hands on you first, and they're all fair game. I gotta go get my stuff.
Mixps sends $5 super chat. Thank you so much. I'm gonna go silent here for a minute and close down, and then I will chat for just a moment and do a wind down chat. But I'm gonna go silent for right now. And I'm just gonna face the ground. The event is over. I'm not hiding anything. I just want to go silent so I can interact with my crew here. So I'm gonna go silent, and then I'll close down chat in a few minutes. All right, guys. I'm closing down chat and just talk to you for a minute and just do a debrief here, I guess. Had a good event, stay peaceful. I really enjoyed that interview I got to do with the Antifa guy. I'm not sure if he's actually Antifa, dressed like that. I felt the interview with that liberal guy was very exhausting and circular. It was honestly, it was annoying me. So, why was Raz Girl Angelica at the chat last? I don't know about that. Firebombs police station. Thank you for all my supporters. I appreciate everything you guys do to help. Thanks for getting out there and giving us eyes and ears. Thanks, Josh Ozo, for modding for me. Gotta get a drink soon, buddy. Yeah, he was weird. Will Troutwine, thank you so much for your support and helping a mod. Looking forward to seeing you soon. It's timed out. Thanks, MM, for modding and keeping the loonies out of here. Captain Deplorable, reach out to me, make sure I know that it's you, and we'll talk about doing that. We're good at this. Thank you, Bruce. Josh Ozo. So I got a good event coming up this weekend, you guys. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but there's something coming up this weekend that has the potential to be pretty epic. I'm looking forward to it. I like all those moo-hoo-ha-ha-has. I'm also, if you guys haven't seen on my social media, I'm in the process of putting shirts, mugs, bandanas, and hats together. So soon I'll have some merch, and if you guys are interested, you can purchase that. Nolan Jorgensen, thank you so much for modding, being here tonight. Thank you so much. How many likely bodies this weekend? I hope there's no bodies this weekend. The Deplorable show coming. All right. So if you guys, just to update you guys, I'm consolidating my branding. So everything is Villain Report now. On Twitch, I'm Villain Report. I haven't used it in a while, but I intend to try to integrate that in soon. Twitch is Villain Report. Facebook is Villain Report. I dropped the word the is gone. Facebook is Villain Report. Twitter is @Villain Report. YouTube is Villain Report. Cash App is $Villain Report. Venmo is @Villain Report. And the PayPal is still the villainreport@gmail.com, but that will be changing shortly. Everything is Villain Report. It's all consolidated to Villain Report. Red, white, and blue. I see you. Thank you for the words and thanks for the support. Moo-hoo-ha-ha-ha. Not harm anyone hiding behind a cloak in black like he is a superhero. Yeah. All right, guys. I think I'm gonna sign out here. As always, I want to see those moo-hoo-ha-ha-has as we sign out. I'm not going to Cali with Andy. I'd like to interact with Andy some more. It just hasn't happened yet. Keep your money. Yeah. I haven't had any problems with my platforms yet. Well, somewhat, but I fixed them. All right, guys. I'm out of here. Moo-hoo-ha-ha-ha-ha. All right, guys. A few more seconds. All the rights for all the people. I love that. All the rights for all the people. Boo-hoo-ha-ha-ha-ha. All right, you guys. Thanks for watching. You guys have a good night. Stay safe. And do what you can to come out to some of these events if you can. Just show the numbers. Let the rioters know that they're not in the majority and that America's not going to put up with this. You guys have a good night. Thanks for watching. Boo-hoo-ha-ha-ha-ha.